Welcome everyone to the DCU Soccer Podcast. I'm joined again with DC United Kingdom from Twitter.
Hello.
Yeah, and also make sure you check out his podcast as well. I do think you have a really exciting couple things coming down the pipeline. Did you want to talk a little bit about those things or hype up maybe our audience?
Yeah, so for the next episode, I've got a couple of, well, I don't want to big it up too much, but for me, it's going to be a couple of big guests. It's going to be quite a different style of show from the previous ones, if you've ever listened to my podcast. Two guests. We're going to have a kind of a debate show because they're not DC United related. They are, again, fans of our next opponents, Orlando City. So that's, as we're recording this, that's going to be recorded tomorrow, and we shall see how that goes. And hopefully, if you do tune in, you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely check that out. And if I had to guess, I guess you're having Nani and Wayne Rooney on your show. So
Oh yeah,
everyone
just
tune in.
a couple of players.
Yeah, cool. So I thought we would start talking this week about maybe the Women's World Cup because there's a lot of stuff going on there. I mean, I've watched a few of the games. I think the first game I watched was the England-Scotland game maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. And then obviously the US pretty much sending Thailand back home
Oh.
almost. But yeah, so
Yeah.
curious, like, if you've watched any of the games, like what have you been thinking? And maybe you've probably seen more of the England games than I have, so maybe your perspective on how they're doing and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest here. I've actually watched more US games than I've watched England games. Believe it or not, I've actually been more interested in the US kind of things, but I did catch the England-Scotland game. A lot of the games so far for this World Cup I've actually been working whilst they've been on, so I haven't caught too many of them. But the England-Scotland game was it was a pretty decent one. It was closer than I was expecting. I thought England would have been better, but we won. That's what matters at the end of the day. It is how many goals you put into the net. And so far, I've been impressed with England so far. Phil Neville, he's kind of done some good things so far. It was a bit of a weird warm up session time before the World Cup, but we've done well. I think we're starting to hit form at the right time. And then, as you said, the USA absolutely destroying Thailand, and there was some hit back on social media from it. I think you probably saw about the celebrations and everything. What did you make of that?
Yeah, so that's definitely been a big talking point, especially over here. Like even in some of my social circles, like it's starting to bleed in because typically around like in America, soccer typically hits like the mainstream when the World Cups come on,
Yep.
both of them, and so those things were definitely swirling around. I mean, yeah, I mean I'm not gonna tell anyone not to celebrate, obviously. If it was me and me personally, subjectively, I would probably not have acted that way. But I mean, I think a lot of it is like, a lot of writers and media people have been kind of saying, are the US as good as they used to be? Are they going to go out there and do well?
Mm.
A lot of talk about Jill Ellis or maybe some of the like old, not necessarily too much of this, but some of the older players and like, yeah. So I mean, kind of going out there with a bang. I think they were just like super excited and just
Yep.
ready to. So yeah, I don't really know. I don't know. What did you think of it?
I mean, when I watched the full game against Thailand, and when I was watching, I didn't feel like US were over celebrating too much, to be honest. So when it was all starting to kick off on social media about they shouldn't be celebrating this, that, and the other, I was like, I was a bit taken aback by it. And then when you rewatch the celebrations, and then you see the different sides of the arguments and things like that. And you see some people arguing that if it was the men's game, they wouldn't have celebrated as much. I don't. It is a bit of a strange one to kind of say yes, they should have been celebrating, or no, they definitely shouldn't have been, because it is a World Cup after all. Yes, the result was heavily one-sided, and at the end of the day, Thailand, they're not full-time players, so yes, it's going to be one-sided. And hopefully, I can't remember who the heck was it saying. Was it Alex Morgan? Or was it the head coach? One of those two. They came out and said that hopefully that result will actually make the Thai authorities actually go, you know what, we actually need to pump a bit more money into the Thai game and actually make sure that next time round it isn't as one-sided and actually it can be a lot closer. So yes, these results are going to pipe up every so often in the World Cup at the moment, But until more money goes into the game, and another talking point with the US women's game is about the equal pay side of things. The more that becomes a bit more neutral, the game is it's going to stay like this. And I think the women's game needs a bit more money worldwide. And I think the celebration part of it might actually kick things off. I think it might be a good thing that this has happened.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the summary of how I feel is that I'm fine with how things went the whole game,
Yeah.
like and all the celebrations. But I mean, I wouldn't have done it. But again, 7 billion people would react 7 billion different ways. So
Oh yeah.
me saying that I wouldn't celebrate that doesn't necessarily mean that they shouldn't have or not. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the real thing is like, yeah, like it's gonna be hard for Thailand, who has like a private. I think this is what I understand is that they have like a
Mm.
private benefactor who like supports the team and gives the
Yeah.
whole team jobs. And so like that's great, and obviously that's an awesome thing that they have someone like that, but that's not sustainable. Like they need to have some more support from the country and like the federation there. Like
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm hoping that they have something. Maybe they create like a league, like a semi-pro league at least, something like that. But I did when I was watching that game, like they kept showing the poor child crying. Did you see that?
Oh, I know they didn't show that over here. I'm kind of
Yeah,
glad
I
because that
guess
would have been too sad.
on our broadcast they just kept showing like a little girl from Thailand just kept crying in I guess her
Oh,
mother's arms, and it was just so sad.
oh,
And so then yeah, you see kind of like I guess maybe like one of the reasons maybe you didn't see like have the impression of over celebrating is because the difference in broadcasting, because it's kind
yeah,
of hard when
possibly,
you're
yeah.
going back and forth between like not overwhelming celebrations, but like they were animated, and then the crying
Hmm.
child, like it could be perspective as well,
Yeah,
so I don't know.
yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, again, I think I'm totally happy with how we did that. We celebrated, and that's fine, I think. And
Yeah,
to Thailand got their first goal ever in a World Cup. I think
yeah,
the next game. So, and they were all crying, and that was awesome. Crying of
yeah,
happiness this time, I guess.
yes, yeah,
Um, but yeah, and so I've been watching the USA games and trying to catch some like other ones too, but it's hard because like there's also the Copa America and Gold Cup,
yeah.
which I want to talk about too. Have you been catching any of the Copa America or the Gold Cup?
I've only been catching up with some of the highlights online, and that's just because of the time difference. To be honest, I would have a lot of late nights, and I don't think my missus would be too happy with that. To be honest, I think she would be probably kicking me out of bed. So I wouldn't be able to sleep in the same bed as her anymore. I don't think so. I've been catching up with some of the highlights on it, and speaking of the devil, she's actually just WhatsApped me. Hey, and I've seen some of the sort of Brazil stuff. Why? Here's a question. Why is Japan in Copa America?
So Japan and Qatar got invited. They do this kind of stuff. So I
Yeah.
mean, the U.S. has been in it before. Like they usually they invite some other nations usually.
All right.
Yeah, I don't read the how it all happens or how they select it, but they typically have like guest nations. Yeah, and so that also
Bizarre.
happens sometimes for the Gold Cup, I believe. Like,
Yeah.
believe some of the South American countries have played in the Gold Cup before.
Hmm.
I believe. Don't quote me because it's been a long time. Yeah, don't Twitter me, everyone. But
Now this is the time
yeah.
where you have to tweet them saying that never actually happens.
Yeah, my Twitter is at DC United Kingdom. Um, but yeah, so the Japan's actually been doing pretty decently, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had quite a decent result against Uruguay in that last match. I think it was. I saw. I think it
Yeah, they
was.
tied them 2-2, and honestly, Japan deserved to win that game.
Did they?
It was, I think so. I mean, I always root for the underdogs, so maybe there's like that bias, but like
Yeah.
they played pretty well. They attacked on like a counter attack, and honestly, like Uruguay had some chances, sure, but like it wasn't like 40 shots, So
Yeah.
I don't know. I was really rooting for them, but it didn't end up happening.
Yeah. So far, the kind of the big shock result I've seen from Copa America was the Brazil Venezuela game. The fact that ended in a 0-0 tie, and yet I think I've just pulled up the stats from the game. Brazil had 19 shots on goal, but only managed one on target. It's
That's crazy.
just,
Yeah.
yeah. I was just reading up on it, and I think that was the game where there was three VAR decisions that went against Brazil and all to Venezuela, which is just That is absolutely crazy for that to happen in one game. I don't think I've seen 3 VAR decisions go against one team in one game before. Yeah,
I mean, I also like Venezuela because Junior Moreno's there, but
of course. Yeah.
yeah, I think that was I think they're doing really well. Like, I mean, obviously they beat the U.S. in a friendly that doesn't matter that much, I guess, for them, but like
Hmm.
they've been playing pretty well, I think, and so I've been watching their stuff and rooting for them. And they're playing like I think maybe even right now, but they might advance if they win today. I think that'd be great. And also Joseph Martinez from Atlanta's on that team.
Yeah.
And so I think just having like these MLS players, it's like playing in a lot of these games is good for the league and for our teams.
Yeah.
Especially Junior Moreno, like even when he played against Argentina in the friendly, like in the March international window or whatever,
Yeah.
just seeing like pictures of him like tackling Messi or like right next to Messi was like this is so crazy, right? Like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I
That.
also seen a lot of like the Argentina not doing so well and being beat
Mm,
by Colombia and losing. I think they lost, so they lost their first game in a Copa America, and I think that's like the first time it's ever happened in some crazy
yeah.
amount of time or something. So it's crazy.
Yeah. As it stands at the moment, whilst we're recording, Venezuela are actually beating Bolivia 1-0 as we speak.
Oh wow.
Uh, yeah, and Junior Moreno has started that game. And I'm amazed that, well, you've got Solomon Rondon, who's currently plays for West Brom up top, and I still can't believe Joseph
Newcastle.
Martinez.
He's at
He,
Newcastle.
he's not. He's gone back to West Brom.
Really?
Yeah, he was only on loan there.
Oh
Um,
man.
but they are trying to sign him on a permanent basis, so we'll see what happens on that one. But yeah, Joseph Martinez starts on the bench again, which is just bizarre for me. It's I would have thought they would have started him. And his goal scoring record in MLS is just outstanding. And Rondon, he's not he never scores a lot of goals, and yeah, it baffles me that one. And then in the other game that we've got going on, Brazil are beating Peru 1-0 as we speak.
I've watched Rondon play. Yeah, I guess when he was at loan, I didn't even know he was on loan Newcastle. I thought he was just there. But when I'm
Yeah,
like, so I'll check out like when Almiron's playing or whatever, just to be
yeah,
like just to watch or whatever, because it's Newcastle. But I didn't think he ever did terribly or that well, kind of thing. But I think maybe the calculus there is like his competition is obviously a couple steps above the MLS defenders, so maybe
yeah,
that's like the thing. He's also it kind of feels like a different type of player than Martinez,
yeah.
but
He's more of a I would say more of a bit more of a target man, hold up type of player.
yeah, hold it, yeah. And Martinez is more like, or traditionally has been more like poacher, kind of like yeah, like
Yeah,
ish kind of thing. So maybe that's part of it, but he does get off the bench in a lot of the games, so
yeah.
yeah.
It'd be nice to see him do well, especially from a MLS point of view.
For sure, for sure. And like definitely because everyone down there knows like especially obviously in Venezuela, but like even in like other parts of South America that Joseph Martinez had that crazy year last year. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, and also I've been watching Almiron play. There he had this crazy game against it for Paraguay. I don't remember who they played, and I don't know why I can't
Hmm.
remember, but he had a crazy game, and that was pretty cool to see as well. But yeah, I've been watching a lot of the Colombia games too because my girlfriend is from Colombia, and
All right.
they seem to be doing well. It's hard to really say because like Argentina's not particularly playing that well, and so it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you beat Argentina, but they're also not like they're not like the favorites at this point, right? They're not the top,
No. I
and I
mean,
don't
they
know what
drew
that's
against Paraguay. They've only got 1 point.
yeah,
That's insane. That's
yeah.
genuinely surprising. That.
It's the
Wow.
Messi curse because you just can't. You
No.
can't it's like
They're,
something's up, yeah.
they're below Qatar in the group.
Which I think is exciting, but I'm sure
Yeah.
that they don't.
That's. Yeah. Obviously, anyone from Argentina is going to think, "What the heck?" But yeah,
Fire at them all.
that's insane. I just. Oh, that I'm genuinely shocked by that. You'll probably tell. Flipping heck. Oh well, there we go. Gold Cup. Should we talk about that?
Absolutely.
That's just started, hasn't it? When are you guys playing? Is it tonight that you're playing Trinidad, or is that tomorrow?
It's tonight. I'm
It's
excited.
tonight.
I'm really
Yeah.
excited. Yeah.
How do you think
Well,
you're going to get on that one then?
yeah. So yeah, like I mentioned, I'm gonna this one. I think I'm gonna be in a bar because
Yeah.
I'm either gonna be because like again like they we had that game and they beat us and we didn't make the World Cup. So there's a little bit of that, and I
Yeah.
think I think it's weird because there's part of like the soccer quote unquote media around, like in our country like playing that up, and then
Yeah.
the other half is like being like, oh, like no, like it's totally different, like we need to get over it. Like they're totally playing it down, and so it's just interesting because like
All right.
for me, I'd feel like I don't want to play it up, but it's also like, no, I really want to make an impact here because
Yeah.
uh, this is a way of not showing. It doesn't matter about anyone else in the world, honestly. Like, I don't really care what, people think about how we're doing or what we're doing, honestly, too much. I mean, I want to perform. I want to do it on the field. Losing to
Yeah.
Trinidad shows people in America that we're not taking this seriously, and like it exposed a lot of the issues that a lot of the red flags that had been showing in the last, like in the World Cup qualifying and like even a little bit before that,
Yeah.
like it exposed that. And so this would be a good match to be like, okay, we're better than we were. We're taking this seriously. We're moving on in a positive direction. We don't have to worry about that. And
Yeah.
like even like some of the other podcasts, like soccer podcasts or like other media members, like it took them a long time to even mention that loss because that's how big of a thing it was. It was
Yeah.
like this is unprecedentedly bad for like everything in America for soccer. Like it was not good, and a lot of them like, have special code names for it, and like so I just want to get over it. I just
Yeah.
want to be past it.
Yeah. I suppose it's one of the things that once you've kind of avenged that defeat in a way. But
Yeah. I
um,
uh I think we're gonna do fine. I mean, we beat
yeah.
Guyana 4-0, which sure that's not like the toughest opponent ever, but like we played fine. I think we didn't play great. Paul Areola did get a goal, which I was
Yeah.
cheering very loudly for in my apartment at
Yeah.
12 or whatever. The other thing is, yeah, the time is terrible. It's
Is it?
awful. Yeah, because it starts at like 10 o'clock, and I'm like,
Are you
that's
talking in the morning or in the evening?
in the evening.
What?
Yeah, so like.
What?
I don't know what they're doing because like, and maybe there's a reason for this, and I just don't know. And I'm sorry for the Gold Cup organizers, but like, it's genuinely hard to like work and then
Yeah.
like stay up till 10 and then have that emotional roller coaster of your team playing and then try to go to bed at like 12:30, whatever it is, and then wake up again at 7, 8 to go to work. It's like,
Yeah.
but
Now you know how I feel when I'm watching DC United.
yeah, I know. I know. For sure. Except it's a little worse for you, but like yeah. It just feels so unnecessary. It feels
Yeah.
like even for us, like it's so unnecessary. Like why especially I don't know. I don't know. It's just they were doing double headers, which may be part of it. So like what they've been
Right.
doing is yeah, the first team will play at like whatever 8
Yeah.
and then they'll have for the next team come out and like so yeah, I get it. Like if you're playing in a different time zone than the East Coast, like that's maybe 6 or 7.
Yeah.
People are getting off of work, like so yeah, okay, but 10 o'clock is late for a
That is ridiculously late. That is.
yeah, it's not great. And then but yeah, I mean, I thought so. Did you catch the Guyana USA game after, like see the highlights or the discussion or whatever?
Yeah. So I kind of was kind of watching Paul Ariola's goal on repeat a little bit because it was a nice little well taken goal that was, I thought. Nice finish into the top corner, and yeah, well it was a well worked goal, that one, I thought. To be honest, I didn't really catch much else of it. As soon as I saw Areola score, I was like, yeah, let's get that on there. Let's get that on the old app and see how that went down. So it's kind of one of these things where, again, over here it's not really well publicized, and it's unless I'm literally looking through the MLS app, I won't actually see that much of it. You don't see it on BBC Sports. You don't see it on Sky Sports. It's a tough one to keep a real good track on. And I think that's probably where I'm letting myself down a little bit there. So I will make an endeavour for when I'm guessing we probably will record another podcast fairly soon. I will make sure I will watch more Gold Cup games for you.
Yeah, I mean, again, this was Guyana too, so it wasn't like a super crazy game. I definitely, if we do end up making the final and we play Mexico, I think that would be like the one to watch.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't know how the brackets end up, but like if we play, Costa Rica, they're another pretty solid team. I think they're typically like the third best team in CONCACAF, and they're relatively strong. So yeah, if we play any of those games, like that, those should be pretty good soccer games, and not
Yep.
just like yeah, we're playing a bunch of like League 5 players from England because because yeah, I guess there was some kind of, I guess, imperial relationship between Guyana and England
Mm,
and the Dutch. At some point, something happened, and so that a lot of
yes.
their players are like English, like in the very low English leagues, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, it does make for an interesting squad. Let's put it that way. Oh, there we go. I've literally just rewatched the Paul Ariola goal there. What a lovely finish.
Yeah, it was great. And I thought we have a quote unquote new winger, Tyler Boyd, who's changed his
Yes.
allegiance. Thought he played absolutely amazing. I thought he did
Yeah.
well in the Venezuela game too. I mean, well, quote unquote, because we did terribly in those friendlies. But
Yeah.
yeah, he strikes me as a guy kind of like Paul Arriola, but like I guess like a little stronger and like his service is a tad bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really exciting and like apparently he's getting a like there's a bunch of rumors about him getting a really big new deal for one of the top teams in Turkey and so
All right.
yeah, it's kind of exciting. It's kind of exciting to have like these players who you've never heard of and they're like 26 and like yeah, you've never heard of them, but then they come in and make an immediate impact or like show some hope, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought a lot of the honestly, I might rant a little bit, but like
Go for
I
it.
love seeing Paul Arriola do well because people in MLS Twitter and like the social media are like so down on him and so hard on him, and I think he's done so well. And there's a little bit of my DC United bias, sure, but like
Yeah.
if you look at even the Venezuela game, even like, you know, people are saying he did so badly, and I'm like, yeah, he didn't do that great, but like he was by far our most dangerous player, and like he scored a couple goals for us in like, you know, last year, and like I think he's doing really well. I don't know what else these people really want to ask of him. I think he's
Yeah.
fitting into the system perfectly. I think he's by far our most dangerous attacking player, and Tyler Boyd there too, I guess, and the most recently. But like, I don't know. I think a lot of people are still stuck up on yeah the Trinidad game, and he was on the field, so
Yeah.
it's frustrating because like it kind of feels honestly like these players get above 23 and then everyone's like, oh, they're the problem, you know, and it's just like, yeah, but we can't field a team of 16-year-olds, you know, so
Yeah. That's it. You've got to have some kind of experience in there because even if they've gone through bad times, they can lend a hand to try and avoid those bad times again. So yeah, it's
yeah,
kind
and
of
he's 25 or something, like he's not even
he's
that
not
old.
old.
Yeah, I
No.
know. It's like, oh God.
Yeah, you've got to kind of temper those expectations a little bit because it from the outside, from my point of view anyway, it feels like the US soccer's gone through a bit of a transitional period right now. And yeah, there's going to be some low points, and that World Cup game against Trinidad, that was an extremely low point. But surely things are going to get, it can only get better. And looking from at some of the young players that are coming through in the team, things are going to get better. So, and I can kind of compare it to England in a way, where we've always had these huge expectations. The media play us up, and then when we don't do so well, it just goes down the drain, and they get absolutely beaten in the press and everything. And then over the last sort of 18 months in the 2018 World Cup, and Gareth Southgate just kind of brought these youngsters through. There was less expectation on him because they were so inexperienced. And then you could see actually that there was very little pressure on the players, and the country got eventually managed to get behind them. And it was a great World Cup from, even though we came fourth overall. It was kind of like, you know what, we've got quite a few good years ahead of us, and that's going to be a really good thing. So, and I think US fans in general should start to get a bit like that over the next 12 months, I would say. Just think, actually, we've got these really good youngsters coming through. Things are going to actually look really good for us, and the next World Cup, we should do really well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, yeah, England definitely has a lot of those youngsters. Like, I mean, even like Jadon Sancho,
Oh,
Phil Foden,
what a
I
play.
guess, even like a lot
Yeah.
of talent that are playing, like, or coming off the bench or getting minutes in even like the FA Cup. I know Foden played.
Yeah.
I remember watching the Man City Newport County game on that terrible field. It was like,
Yeah.
oh my God. But yeah, so. Yeah, we do have a lot of young players coming up, and I think, I mean, 25, like, I get it, but like that's still
He's
hitting their prime, hit their prime. They're doing fine, and
yeah.
I think
I,
I don't know.
I was gonna say that I think for Areola in general, because yeah, he is 25. He's probably still another 3, 4 years away from hitting absolute prime. So he's still got plenty of time to develop his game and actually become a fantastic player for the national team.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. And I mean, I think DC is a great place, or MLS in general is a great place for someone like that. I mean, he's also played in Mexico, which is a little bit, 10, 20, 30% better competition depending. So
Yeah,
I mean, he's a solid player, and I also don't understand the like, I don't know, like the like hoping your team does bad so they replace certain people. It's like you're either a fan or you're
wow.
not, right?
Yeah,
Like I don't know. And if anyone listening is upset that I'm saying that, that's fine. And it's just my opinion again, but like
yeah.
I really try to find the silver lining at least, or just at least like support the guys because they're not, they're also risking, getting injured or like, something happened to them to be out there and play for our country in the Gold Cup, which a lot of players from a lot of other countries decided not to or decided they were too good for, or like, so I
Carlos
mean,
Vela.
yeah,
We're gonna
Carlos
name names
Vela,
there. Yeah.
Nevas, from Costa Rica. I think that one didn't go over that well.
See, he's a very good keeper.
Yeah, but he shouldn't just. The thing is, this is how I feel about it, and this doesn't really matter. But like, if you're gonna deny call-ups and you're gonna continue to do it, like just retire from
Yeah,
international play, right? Like, and
yeah.
maybe it's just because I've never been in that position, and sure, I don't have the perspective, but like, it feels like a very natural thing because then no one will be mad at you because you won't be called up.
Well, that's
Um,
it. Yeah, I'm surprised that that is the case. I was just gonna say, surely getting a call up for the national team should be a massive honor.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if it's one of those things where like they want to keep the door open if they end up making like the World Cup next time. I don't know. I don't know. So,
Yeah,
but anyway, so I mean, like you can't be too hard on either side. Like, fine, like you don't want to play, you don't want to do it. That's fine too. But like, I do think we have to support even players like Zardes. Like,
yeah,
Zardes is a very interesting player. I think, he's definitely not our top striker in the country for sure.
yeah,
But like I'm not going out there being like, I hope he does bad so that, whatever, whatever. No, like I want him to do well. I want our country to do well.
yeah.
And did you see the highlight of his goal?
Oh yeah, that was
That
funny.
was that was the most Zardes goal I've ever seen. Like he
I mean,
just kind of happens to be in place and then gets hit by stuff. It's just
you've got to be in the right place at the right time, and that is the sign of a good striker, actually.
yeah, that's true.
I
But
mean, it's a very random place to be at the right time, but my God, that was a nicely headed goal.
yeah, there's no way anyone was gonna save that for sure. But yeah, I mean, I support him. I think. I mean, I'm also excited to see Altidore get back. He is our best striker, so we
Really?
should. Yeah, he is.
Wow. To be honest, again, this is going to be biased view for me because he played for a rival team, one of the rivals for my English team. Anyway, I thought he was just shocking. I reckon USA have got better strikers than Altidore. Even this is going to be controversial. I reckon Zardes is better.
So it's complicated, but basically, it also like different people hate him, different people like him. I like him. I think on the international level, he has done an amazing job,
Yep.
and I'm not saying he's our best striker ever or anything like. But he's done a really good job over the
Yeah.
years, right? He's also been a disappointment in sometimes, obviously, like
Yeah.
a couple times, but like just his experience and even in Toronto this year, like he's doing pretty well when he can stay healthy. He
Yeah.
did not do well in Europe.
No, not at all. He played for Sunderland. And would you like to know his appearance to goal stat?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So for Sunderland, between the years of 2013 and 2015, he played 42 times, scored once.
Yikes. Yeah,
Yeah.
they hate him. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um
It's and then he was on loan at Hull at one point from when he was playing at Villarreal. 28 games played for Hull and scored once.
Yeah, he did a
So
lot that happens, honestly, that happens. Like you have the people who succeed and do really well, like the Clint
yeah,
Dempseys, the
yeah,
Tim Howards did, obviously. And then you have like the people who don't succeed in Europe, but still perform really well in our national team and even in like World Cups. So it's like
Mm,
it's weird, and I don't really understand why. But yeah, I guess
eh,
he's just kind of like it's just kind of the state of our pool right now. Like I think Sargent will get there. I don't think Zardes is the future. We don't tend to produce a wide like a truly like good depth in the attacking
yeah,
like the strikers those kind of roles and even like the number 10's a really weakness for us.
you do
But
well
yeah,
with
he's our
keepers
best
though.
option right now. Yeah, we have yeah great.
You have some great keepers, and you've had some great keepers like Casey Keller, I remember back in the day.
Yeah.
And then you have Brad Friedel as well, and then Tim Howard. You've got Bill Hamid, obviously, Ethan Hovarth as well, Zach Stefan. What is it with Americans and producing incredible keepers?
Yeah, I mean, even not anymore, or like not even remotely close to now, but like Guzan did had really good times, as well as bad recent times, sure, but like he had some good years
Yeah.
and performing in a couple of places, and like honestly, I even remember like the best goalkeeping performances I remember seeing in person was Nick Rimando back in the day with DC
Oh,
United, just like
yeah.
you were like, this guy is 10'9" or 10 foot, 5'9", but he can jump and just save anything. It was just
Yeah.
crazy. And then I remember after him, Troy Perkins for DC.
Oh,
He was okay, but I liked watching him too. I thought he was a cool guy. I think he
yeah.
became like a real estate person or something, but I thought he did well, you know. But yeah, Nick Romando was always one of the people who I was like he was on the national team like a lot of
Yeah.
people are, but he was one of those like rotational players like that'll come in like January camp uh or like for friendlies or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, Not too many of the competitive games as like a starter, of course, but like
Yeah.
I always thought he deserved more chances, and so like he was amazing. I've never seen anything like that. Bill Hamid's coming close. Bill Hamid's a amazing goalkeeper too, who I guess is never gonna get an opportunity.
Yeah. It's.
But
I feel so sorry for Bellamy. It's just. I just don't understand what he can do more now to get into that national team. It is just bizarre.
yeah, I guess the only thing he can do now is just I guess just be quiet and and just keep performing
Yeah.
and kind of just let whatever happens happens. I think that's kind of his mentality at this point. Kind
Yeah.
of just like do. He's always been like the kind of guy who will just fight and fight and fight and like do his best. So he's always gonna do that. But
Yeah.
I don't think he's got it. I don't think he should worry too much about the national team. I don't know. I think he just it's upsetting. I honestly think that he would have been on the preliminary roster if he hadn't have made those comments about I guess Brad Guzan and then the other one about like I'm better than all those keepers kind of things. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's frustrating, but yeah. So anyway, the Gold Cup, it's happening. We're playing Trinidad and Tobago tonight.
Yep.
I'm hoping we crush them.
Yep.
But yeah. So oh yeah, and then I guess Pulisic did pretty well in the last game, and I did see that like we talked about I think a little bit that Sarri did move to Juventus,
He did.
and
Yes.
which I thought is kind of crazy for various different reasons. Like, but
He
I
could.
guess I don't
He couldn't
know.
have done any better last season, to be honest. I mean, he obviously won the Europa League, which is his first ever trophy. So, congratulations for him to do that. But then he finished third in the Premier League, which is just absolutely fantastic, and will take Man City and Liverpool out with it because they had an absolute insane season. The fact that he's finished the best out of the rest of that league, and they still allowed him to go. It was just bizarre. I think a player power might have had something to say in that, especially when their keeper Kepa refused to be substituted in the cup final. That was
I remember that,
yeah.
yeah.
I think that was a bit of a turning point because I think the fans started to turn on him there as well. I think they were already starting to turn on him because his style of play didn't suit them. But when Kepa was just like, "No, I'm not coming off," I think that's probably when they was like, "Yeah, he's lost the dressing room a little bit, and he just needs to be gone." Which is a shame because, like I said, he's had a really good season.
Yeah. I also like I don't know why, but like I kind of like him. I don't like I think he's cool. I'm not cool, but like I just kind of like that like well, I think the thing was, did you see the like the video of him getting like his medal for after winning the Europa League.
He was so chuffed, wasn't he? He was so pleased
Yeah,
with that.
it was like, oh my God, this is kind of cute.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
I saw like had my heart kind of melted like a little bit.
did you see the cigar he pulled out afterwards as well?
I did not, but I can imagine.
Oh, it was the chunkiest cigar I have ever seen. And you just saw Eden Hazard and I think it was David Luiz just look at him, and you just saw their eyes just literally go so wide. They're like, oh wow, that's a big one.
Yeah, he has a I guess a tobacco thing for sure.
Yeah, yeah, he does a little bit. I think probably one of the reasons why he's gone back to Italy is the fact that he can smoke on the sidelines again.
Yeah, yeah. Or I yeah,
Or the fact that it's Juventus and it's a huge team as well. I think that's probably played a part as well.
yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's an opportunity for sure, and like he's proven himself in that league in certain ways. So I mean, getting third in the Premier League and winning the Europa League is kind of like amazing. Like it's
Yeah.
not shouldn't be frowned upon. And I guess also like Europa League is not like it's not easy to win. And it's not like obviously it's not the Champions League, but it has a lot of great teams. I mean,
Yeah.
like Arsenal didn't play that well this year, but like they're not a bad team either, honestly. Like
No.
so it's like I don't know. I guess yeah, the fans and the owners didn't necessarily like I guess see eye to eye with him, but
Yeah.
I just hope whatever happens, it's okay for Pulisic. I guess Frank Lampard is being rumored.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's going to be pretty much a foregone conclusion now from what I've been reading up on it. I think they're just in the final stages of agreeing the compensation now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to me it makes zero sense, considering like, I mean not zero sense, but like he's what? How many like how long has he been coaching? He was at Derby now, but like
That's his first season.
yeah, like so yeah, like he hasn't really coached that much. Yeah, I was gonna say 1 or 2 seasons. Like he's not.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not that he didn't do well. He did well. Like I
yeah.
mean, he didn't get promoted, but like he was close.
Got to the playoff final, which I've got a huge experience of watching the championship now, since my team is in the championship, and that it's a difficult league to get out of. And he was what 90 minutes away from doing it. I think he's done well, and if he does get the Chelsea job, it'll be great to see a young English manager coming through and being in the Premier League with a top side. But it is a bit of a strange choice if they do go down that route because they're a big team, and to go with someone so inexperienced, it just kind of goes against the grain a huge amount.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I guess it just follows like the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer move too, like
Oh,
kind of like inexperienced, but fine, we're gonna do this to stop the bleeding, the fan bleeding, I guess.
yeah,
I guess, but I mean, and honestly, maybe it'll work out well, and like he'll crush it. I think.
yeah.
I don't know. I kind of hope that Pulisic's fine. I think he probably will be.
Oh yeah,
I
he'll do well there. I I think because Hazard's now gone. Yeah, Pulisic will do absolutely brilliant there. He'll play every game and he'll just get better throughout the season. I reckon he'll have a massive season.
Yeah, I really hope so. And I think Lampard. I mean, obviously he had some time in the U.S., so like
Mm.
I hope he has maybe some like American sympathies like there a little bit. But yeah, anyway, so cool. We covered the Gold Cup, we covered Pulisic, and I guess sorry.
Yeah,
That's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna definitely watch sorry in Juventus next season, see what's up there. But
yeah.
anyway, I guess we should talk about DC United a little
Oh, we
bit.
probably should actually. Yeah, we've not talked about them really, have we yet?
No, I mean we talked
No.
about Paul Arriola. He's kind of crushing it, I think. So, but yeah, so we had two U.S. Open Cup games. I don't necessarily want to talk too much about the specifics. I think
Yep.
from a high level, I think the Philadelphia Union game was. I think we played better than I've seen in a while, honestly.
Yep.
We had honestly like we had so many chances in that second half. We had like if a couple of different things gone wrong, we wouldn't have had to make a comeback there. But
Yeah.
yeah, we won that game. I was feeling very optimistic. I'm like, oh, okay, like this is how we're supposed to be playing. And like you saw Joseph Mora come back and like really kind of crush it. Got a lot of quality balls into the area, and like
Yeah.
the overloads on those sides really free up a lot of space because it naturally pulls defenders or I guess midfielders too, like to that side, and then I guess Lucho and Wayne can kind of lose their markers a little easier. So Yeah,
Yeah.
did you catch up on this game?
I did catch up on the highlights again. Annoyingly, it wasn't shown anywhere live over here, which was really frustrating. But the highlights we looked really good, and the Lucho's actually starting to look a little bit better now. And I think that is, as you said, with the fact that Mora's come back and the fact that we can overload those wings, and that just pulls everyone away. Lucho's got the space. He can do lots of brilliant things when he's got time on the ball. I kind of do wish it didn't go to extra time. I think we got a little bit lucky the fact that we got that last minute penalty. Yes, it was a penalty, but I would have loved to have seen us win in 90 minutes, and plus they let me down on a bet because it went to extra time. So that was really annoying. I was going to be up like about 100 quid, I think it was, and I was just like, oh damn it.
Oh man. Well, yeah,
I
don't
should have
gamble
got.
on US Open Cup games, man. Come on. What are you doing? Like,
I was just like, why not? Let's go for it. See what happens. And yeah, I mean, granted, I only put £1 on it, so it wasn't.
oh,
I think
okay. Well,
I did like a 10 game accumulator, and yeah, DC were the only ones who let me down, which wasn't bad to be honest. Getting 9 games correct, I'll take that. And to be honest, the DC game I did get correct. It was just the fact that it wasn't within 90 minutes. So in my
right.
heart, that
That's
was
the
a
thing,
victory.
yeah.
That was a victory in my heart for my bet. But hey, the betting team didn't say that.
Yeah, so I think yeah, I thought we played really well. I mean, it wasn't perfect. Obviously, we had to go into extra time. We really should have finished off more of our chances. I think,
Yeah,
I think Paul coming back will help a lot. I think Segura's solid. I've said that before, and like I think he's a good off the bench, like impact, physical, kind of guy who can kind of like if we're kind of losing those like first balls or like getting bullied off the ball, he can come in and kind of be that guy, like
yeah.
in a couple different positions. But having Paul on that wing like can really make a big difference. Like so having him come back is going to be nice. Yeah, and so yeah, I was again like really happy Mora was there. I thought he played well. It took him a little longer than I expected because the last time he played was in the Orlando game,
It
like in
was, yeah.
first 5 games or whatever that was. And so, yeah, ever since then we've kind of looked like not terrible, but like
We've lacked something,
definitely
haven't we?
off. Yeah, for sure. And like I was kind of feeling really optimistic until we played our next U.S. Open Cup game,
Yeah, yeah,
which we lost to NYCFC, who have been doing better in the latter part of the first half of the season. But yeah,
yeah,
they didn't really have any like defenders, so they had like a strange starting defense situation. So I think we could
yeah.
have done a lot better. I think
I
this
mean,
is one of the worst games I've seen to be honest. Like I don't know.
oh, well, I don't know. I think I think the Montreal Impact game was probably worse, and we
Or
only
the
drew them.
LAFC one, I guess. I should,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true. Yeah, yeah.
I
We've
guess I
we've
should
had a
stop.
couple of bad games this season, but yeah, I mean, it looked great in the first minute. That lovely little back heel from Acosta to Rooney and hitting the post,
Yep. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and then that was about it.
yeah. I guess
Uh,
maybe I had felt like the beginning of the season optimism back with
yeah,
Mora coming back. I'm like, oh yeah, he's the
yeah,
guy. He's the one who's gonna change this. And like we just won against Philadelphia Union, who didn't have their 100% top 11, but pretty close, kind of
yeah.
like how we were. And we beat them, and they're like the top of the pretty. I guess they're in the top of the East right now. So I was feeling optimistic. I was really much like, yo, we're gonna run this OS Open Cup. Like we're going
Yeah.
for silverware, but didn't happen. So.
Yeah, it's a shame, but at least now we can kind of go back and actually just concentrate on MLS and MLS only now, which means we've got less games, which means the players should be fresher, and hopefully we'll have a much better run in from the last sort of 5, 6 games we've had in the league. So hopefully we'll do better.
Yeah, yeah. I think, I mean, even for a U.S. Open Cup game, and like, we also saw Pines came back to the bench. Knaus was on the bench as well after suffering a knock. Bustamante I guess we have his contract, but he plays a
Yeah.
lot for Loudon. In the first game, I didn't think he did that bad. I think he was doing okay. He was keeping up with
Okay.
it. But the second game, it was kind of like, all right, we need to put Knaus in here. We were just kind of like letting them kind of get through our midfield, and I'm kind of getting concerned about Durkin as well after his U20 appearance and this game.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what's going on there. but kind of feels like he's lost a step, and I don't like kind of pulling a Michael Bradley or something. Like, how are you so slow all of a
What?
sudden? Like, yeah, like I don't know, man. But I want to see him like less like kind of like I don't know, like walking around, more like trying to get to those balls, trying to clog up that midfield because you have to, or else they're gonna pass right through you. And we saw
Yeah.
that. We saw at least one of the chances they got. They passed right between our center backs from almost half like midfield. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like, what's going on here? And Canals came in. It did help a little bit, but we weren't really that good. And at the end, we kind of saw even Wayne Rooney, who typically is always trying to do the press and trying to like as much as
Yeah.
as possible. I think he's always like trying to encourage everyone and stuff like that as the captain and leader. But even he was getting to the point where he's like, all right, like if you guys aren't gonna come with me, like why am I here? you
Yeah.
know?
Why should I bother if you're not
Yeah.
gonna actually bother as well, kind of thing.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. We really got to start. We have enough talent to really be doing a lot better,
Yeah.
and that's the disappointing part. We know that this team can do better, and they had a week to train on the stuff. They had a long time to train.
Yeah. We've got
So
plenty of downtime to actually work things out and actually work over those cracks that we've got at the moment. So
yeah,
yeah.
I know there's a lot of like Olsen out stuff. I'm not an Olsen out guy. I'm not into like kind of similar to the stuff earlier I was talking about. I'm not like a,
Yeah.
super negative all the time kind of guy, especially like in public or on Twitter. Maybe to my girlfriend, I'm like, you know what? The US has got to do this. I'm tired of this. But like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like to put that out in the world. And so I don't know. I don't necessarily see the whole like Olsen out thing. I mean, if we want to reflect on the first part of the season, like I'm not saying we're doing great or bad. I think we're doing like maybe 6 or 9 points less than I would have expected, but like
Yeah.
we're still doing pretty well. I think for me the concerning part is that we got a lot of those points like from the first 3 or 4 games, like not a
Yeah.
lot of them, but like that was the solid chunk of them, and yeah, so if we wanted to talk a little bit about the first half of the season, like what do you think about it, first of all, but also like what do you think we struggled with? What were our high points? And then after that, we can transition into talking about the rest of the season.
Yeah, so for me, first half of the season, I sitting third in the Eastern Conference isn't really well, joint second isn't actually a bad place to be. To be honest, we're in the playoff spots, so that's always a good thing. It's a lot better than the first half of last season. Let's put it that way. So if you compare them year on year, it's a much improvement. It's just the fact that we had such a good end to last season. I think our expectations went through the roof, to say the least. We've had some very poor games so far, and but we've had some really great games, especially at the start of the season. And the fact that our lineup, it's gonna get back to the way it was, and that should prove great for the second half. But I think apart from a couple of games, defensively we've looked solid. It's just the attack, and I think from when we're coming up to sort of the next transfer window, I want us to see us sign another striker just to give Rooney that bit of competition and Quincy a bit of competition because we need more goals. There's no doubt about that. And I just think there has been a lack of a bit of a spark. Whether that's a spark that we need to come off the bench or whether it's a spark that we need to have a little bit more on the pitch from the start. It's been a bit of an up and down season, let's put it that way. And I think we'll do all right in the second half of the season. I don't see us winning the Eastern Conference now. I think we'll be close. Let's put it that way. It'll be a close run thing towards the end of the season, but I think you know what, we'll easily make the playoffs. I've got no doubts about that. We're 9 points clear of Orlando, who are sitting in eighth at the moment. I don't see us not making the playoffs. I don't know whether you will agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll make the playoffs. I think one of the things that is kind of concerning to me is that our second half of the season seems a lot more difficult. We have a couple of games against really tough opponents. I think, let me just looking at the thing. I mean, 2 games against the Red Bulls, our rivals. So, and they're not doing terribly this season. They had a rough start, but like they're
Yeah,
also our rivals, and that's also always a thing. 2 games against Philly, who are the top of the Eastern Conference. Atlanta United, Seattle Sounders, the Timbers are even doing decently.
yeah,
LA Galaxy, Toronto.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah. I was just gonna say, yeah, we have got tough games, but you know what? I mean, you mentioned Philadelphia Union and the two games we've got against them. I mean, we beat them once already this season, so there's no reason why we can't beat them again. We should be beating Chicago. Atlanta, we seem to do quite well against them. I think we might be their kind of their bogey team. Toronto, that was a heck of a game at their ground last season, and we should do all right against them again at the end of the month. I don't think it's going to be as tough as you're making out, to be honest. I think we'll be actually all right. I think our toughest game is going to be against Marseille on July 24th in that friendly game that we've got again.
yeah, that also looks exciting. I'm kind of excited about that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's probably somewhere in the middle there. I think the Red Bulls and us, we don't get along, so there's always that on the field, and
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's definitely on paper seems harder, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, who
Uh,
knows? We got to play these games. And honestly, even the Orlando City games we've had, they've gotten physical,
yeah.
so like even that could be a little thing. I mean, definitely a game where we need to make sure that we have Knaus in there to
Yeah.
kind of, yeah. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I hope that we can really beat, if not most of these teams. Like theoretically, we should be able to stay in the game and really, really compete with all of them.
Yeah. So
But
should we go through game by game and just have a quick prediction on them, see what we think will happen?
that's a great idea.
Yeah. So should we start off with Orlando? What do you reckon? Win or loss or tie?
We'll beat Orlando.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with that one. Toronto at Audi Field on 29th.
To me, I feel like that's a win considering I don't know if Altidore is going to make it out of this Gold Cup without a pulled hamstring, so I don't know. So I think we win that one too.
Yeah,
I think it'll be close, so maybe a draw or a win, but I'm gonna go ahead and say win.
yeah. And I'd tell you, I'd be more towards tie, but I think we could sneak a win on that one. Then we got Dallas at the Toyota Stadium on Independence Day. That should be quite a good game to have there.
Well, first of all, I don't understand how it's Independence Day and we're not playing in our capital, but whatever. I'm not even gonna. I'm just seeing that, and now I'm kind of like, why is that a thing? But whatever.
Oh, but the guys who do the fixture list for the MLS, they like to throw some weird curveballs in there for some reason. But yeah, so we've got FC Dallas. I'm not so sure on that one. Tie, I reckon.
Yeah, that one will be tough. I mean, they have some really good pieces. I mean, Paxton Pomykal is killing it.
Yeah.
Like probably one of the biggest prospects for the U.S. national team at this point, I think.
Mm.
So he's a young guy. He's playing pretty well this season and comes from probably the best or one of the best academies in MLS, and so they're doing well. I kind of think that they're gonna give it to us and beat us on that game.
Fair enough. The following game is against New England Revolution. So we have Bruce Arena returning to DC.
Great.
Yep. Obviously, we tied against them. Did we tie against them earlier in the season? Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
On that late penalty.
Yeah, and that
I
was
believe.
when you saw Rooney, Olsen, and Arena in a bar.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
right. That great old joke right there.
yeah, for sure.
So it is at Audi Field, and it's a Friday night. That's interesting. I see us winning that one, to be honest. I still don't think New England are gonna pull any trees up or anything like that. I think we'll win that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, when we played them, we didn't play well, and they're kind of hitting their form. So I don't know. I kind of see like a tie.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then we got Cincinnati.
we, we
At
we're beating Cincinnati.
I think everyone's beating Cincinnati at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that was that. Just to kind of slightly go off topic, still on topic about Cincinnati. Have you seen who's rumored to be their new head coach?
I have not, or maybe I
Uh,
did, and I don't remember.
so this, I think it was this morning. I actually saw it, or it might have been yesterday. Alan Pardew, the former
Interesting.
West Ham, Newcastle,
Yeah, that's.
Crystal Palace manager.
I'm trying to see because that sounds familiar, but I don't remember that with in terms of FC Cincinnati. But that's interesting. Do
Yeah,
they?
I
When did you see that?
think I believe it was this morning actually.
Oh, okay.
Let me just quickly check. Everyone talk amongst yourselves whilst I have a look.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
we're definitely beating them. But
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's got to be a given, right? Control F for finding Pardew. Yep, it was this morning. It was on the BBC gossip column from ESPN. So,
Interesting.
yeah. Uh,
That's kind of cool. I like that. I don't mind that.
Yeah, it's a big name. Let's put it that way. That would be good for them. I don't think he'll be able to turn the season around because you look at their roster and there's only so much you can do with that kind of roster. But yeah, we'll beat them in July. Then we've got Atlanta United on July 21st at the Mercedes-Benz, and like I said, I think we tend to do well against Atlanta. I think we'll win that one.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be at this game, so we better
Yeah.
win.
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember you saying you were going to go to that one.
Yeah, so I think we pull it out. I think De Boer's like system and tendencies honestly are kind of predictable
Yeah.
and not easy to match up against, but I think we can do it. I think like and I think other teams could too, but I don't know. I don't think they're as good as they're playing right now. I think they're somewhere in between their current form and their form in the beginning of the season. I think that they're gonna have some issues, and so I
Yeah.
think we win this game. I really do.
Yeah, I was looking at the standings for the league, and they've played 15 games and only scored 19 goals. So it's a far cry from where they were last season, where they were free scoring in every single game. So yeah, I'm going to go for a win on that one. I'm going to ignore the friendly match because well, we won't have our main team out on that one, I would imagine. So
Hope
we
not.
go.
Yeah.
It'll be the second string side like we did against Real Betis, and it's annoying that they've put that friendly game in there.
Well, this is part of the problem with how we do our seasons, right? All of these European teams are off season, preseason,
Yeah,
and we're in the middle of our season. So like it causes so many different issues. One of them
yeah,
being the transfer window, one of them
yes,
being like all these European teams are coming through when we're in the middle of our season. We play the All-Star game, we play these other games.
yeah,
And so it's weird because like we don't want any of our guys to get hurt. So we don't play a real team and then we just look terrible.
yeah.
So
It doesn't give MLS a good light or anything like that. It's just
yeah.
come on. I think we should have MLS teams touring Europe in Europe in the off season.
That would be really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would like that. That'd be really cool. I
yeah,
mean, especially since like the fan base is growing. But
yeah.
yeah, should we go to Chicago for that
Let's
next
go to
game on the
Chicago. Yeah.
27th, right? Yeah.
Yeah, 27th of July, on the Saturday evening. We've got, I reckon, a tie in that one. It'll be a tough stadium to go to, and I mean, obviously they've still got Schweinsteiger, and they'll be solid at the back again. Yeah, I'm going to go for a tie on that one, or possible defeat.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, that's also a day before my birthday.
Oh,
So
oh, well,
I do remember, I think last year on my birthday we lost or something, and I was upset, or I don't know
oh,
what happened, but but yeah. So yeah, I don't know. That's Chicago. I think we went there and tied last year.
yeah,
Even when we were on our best form, I think they're kind of like a stingy team potentially a lot of the times. So yeah,
yeah. They don't give a
um,
lot away or anything like that, so it'll be a low-scoring affair, I think.
yeah, for sure. But then we go to, or we're at Audi Field against the Union.
Yep,
And I guess at this point of the season, it'll be, the talking points. Hopefully, will be like, here are the two best teams in the Eastern Conference.
yep.
Um, and that probably will hit the Atlanta game too a little bit, but like this is starting to get a little farther in the season. So,
Yeah.
I mean, both teams are going to be fighting for it, and they know these points are going to matter. And so,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I
I
think
think
it'll
this is a
be.
tie for sure,
You
for
reckon?
me anyway. I do.
I I don't see a tie in this one. It'll be well. One team will win this one. I was at this game last year where we unfortunately got defeated, and but it's we played well against most of their first team where we didn't have the same sort of level out there. I think we'll win this. I think I'm even going to put a score on this one. I'm going to say 2-1 again.
All right, every game against the Union cannot be 2-1.
Why
Not
not? It
possible.
can. Why not?
Yeah, I guess technically that's something to gamble on. Like the next 5 games against the Union are gonna be 2-1, and like you'll win $1 million putting like 50 cents in or whatever.
I'll do that. I'll do
But
that.
yeah, so I don't know. I think a tie. I think that they're really hitting some good form. Like
Okay.
they just acquired a new striker, Andrew Wooten, who's American, I think, and
Is that the guy who signed from Germany?
I believe so. I believe
Yeah.
so. Yeah. But I mean, I guess Corey Burke, I don't know where he is. I guess he's back home, but he doesn't have a visa or something, and so I guess he's just not gonna play.
Mm. What?
So it's weird, but yeah. So then the LA Galaxy come to DC in what I
Yeah.
imagine will be like a sold out crowd because I
Ah,
guess
that's going to be hyped up to the max, isn't it? It's
yeah,
Rooney versus Latan.
yeah, that's true.
That's what it's going to be, isn't it?
Yeah, and then like yeah, and like the two it's like that and then also the fact that like these are like two of the big like historic quote unquote historical like MLS clubs like that have had real success in the past. So
Yep.
there's always been
0-0
something
draw.
there. Yeah, probably. No, I don't know. I Ibra seems to want to crush everything, so I don't
I tell you what, I've actually been quite disappointed in him in just general MLS. He scores fantastic goals, don't get me wrong, but he's not set the league alight, has he? I think he could do a lot better. Yeah, he's not, I've not really heard much from him apart from that choke slam he did on Sean Johnson.
yeah. He missed a few games for that, I think,
Yeah,
and also he had an injury thing in the beginning of the season, so
yeah,
he hasn't been around that much this season. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is one of the games since there's going to be hype where he's going to really want to turn it on.
yeah,
But honestly, I'm not that impressed. I mean, I'm impressed obviously because he's a good player, a great
yeah.
player, obviously. But at the same time, when I'm watching the LA Galaxy, I see a lot of him like putting his arms up or like yelling at his teammates, and it's kind of like, all right, man. Like every time I watch you, you're kind of just like berating your teammates, and so I'm not
Yeah,
necessarily sure he's doing the like the Wayne Rooney leadership,
yeah,
type of thing, at least not in the same way. And like I know me personally, I respond more to the like Wayne Rooney, like he's obviously not gonna just kiss your ass, but he's going to like he's not gonna be
he,
like super mean to you, and he's gonna support you, right? So
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's literally what I was about to say. Is he's the guy? He looks like the kind of guy who wants to bring you on rather than just being. It's all about me, 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 which you tend to get with Zlatan. He's got a huge ego, where Rooney kind of does have a big ego in a way, but he wants to have everyone on the same page. I think so.
For me, I feel like, and I don't know if this is true or not because I don't know their personalities. I can just say what I see on the field or like in
Yeah,
interviews. But like Rooney is definitely the kind of guy who like I could like that type of personality who like is in my friend group. Everyone knows they have a relative like a little bit big ego. A lot of people do like,
yeah,
but like you can hang out with them, you can have beers with them.
yeah,
But with Ibrahimovic, it'd be like we're out getting beers and he just won't stop talking about himself. And
yeah.
it's like, all right, I'm just gonna go home.
He,
Like,
he won't have the
yeah.
beer either. He'll have the champagne.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the top shelf because he makes so much money.
Oh yeah,
One of those guys.
absolutely. Oh,
But yes.
there's a title for you, Zlatan Top Shelf.
Yeah, jeez. uh, yeah, I'll have the
Oh,
top shelf champagne maybe. Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Then we've got Vancouver, haven't we? That's going to be a hell of a trek, isn't it?
yeah, Canada.
Yeah. That's. I don't know whether I'll stay up for that one. That's going to be what 3 o'clock in the morning kickoff for me. Flipping heck. I'll probably stay away.
Doesn't even sound like that fun of a game either, honestly. But
Nah. I mean, they've got a nice stadium.
great.
That's all I can think of right now. Yeah, I don't really actually know too much about how Vancouver are doing right now. Actually, they're not doing great.
No.
So they've played 16 games, so they've played one less than we have. They're on 18 points. They've scored 17 goals, conceded 20. Their home form: 3 wins, 3 losses, 3 ties.
Hmm.
So yeah,
We should win this game.
yeah, I think that's on paper we should win that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The travel sucks, but whatever. I
yeah,
think we pretty much these are the kind of games that like you have to take the opportunity to win, right? Like the other games, obviously, like the next one, the Red Bulls is obviously going to be harder than the Vancouver game, even like though it's at
yeah.
home. I think.
Oh yeah, it's the rivalry games are always at the next level up. So
Yeah.
and you can't use form to predict how these games go generally. And I would love to see us win this one. I'd love to see the fight and the passion come out in this game. I'd love to see the fans getting every single part of the stadium getting loud and getting behind the team. So it's it's a difficult one to predict, but I'm just going to say DC win.
Yeah, so there's another Red Bull game. I'm gonna say like for that one, I think we do come up short when we go up there later in the season. But for this
Yeah,
one, I think we pull it out.
yeah.
Yeah,
And then we've got the return leg for Philadelphia. We're at their stadium. Ooh, how are they doing at home at the moment? Let's have a little look. So Philadelphia they're currently 6-2-2 at the moment. So possible tie, possible defeat.
for sure, for sure. And I'm probably gonna be at this game too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I usually go to the I mean not always, but like I usually go to the Philly games because yeah, I have family near there, and they're big soccer people.
Good.
And also, like, I like their stadium. I think it's cool. Like, if it feels kind of like Audi Field in some ways.
Okay.
And yeah, so I like it there. I don't like the Union. So
Yeah.
don't tweet me again. I don't like them much at all, but I do like going there. I like being with my family, and it's not all the time I get to watch a game where I have a vested interest with my family. So
Yeah. Who
that's
who
kind
do
of
your
why.
family support then?
They're Union fans, but
Oh.
yeah. So yeah, well, my cousin, he plays soccer on a travel team. Are you
Hmm.
familiar with like they have those? I guess they probably do in England, like travel teams.
Um, Possibly. Yeah, probably be called something different, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's like so. There's obviously rec teams, which are like the quote unquote non-competitive, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you typically have what are called travel teams, which means you travel around. I guess it's different because US is so big, but like, yeah, you
Hmm.
travel around to play like other really good teams from different regions, and he's on one of those. And
Oh,
so,
right. Okay.
yeah, it's like I don't really know the whole like I guess pyramid or whatever it's called, but like
Yeah.
it's like you have the travel teams, and then you have like the development academies, and typically like sometimes they'll play development academies, and sometimes like there's a lot of travel teams that are affiliated like in the group of an MLS team or like the development stuff. So like DC United, for example, has a bunch of these kind of affiliate teams in the DC area,
Yeah.
but yeah, so he's like really big into soccer and he's really, really good. And so I don't necessarily know if he wants to or will go pro or anything. And who can predict that? But like
Well, yeah.
he really likes it. He wants to do it in college and stuff, I think. So yeah, anyway, he's really into it, so I always go with them when I get the chance.
Oh, fair. Good luck to him. So, moving on. The next game is against Montreal Impact on August 31st at the Stade Saputo, if we're going to go for the full accent. I think, to be honest, I think we should be beating Montreal. I know
Yes.
we tied with them 0-0 on my birthday this year, but yeah, I want revenge for that.
Yeah, and I remember I was at the game last year with the 5-0. I think that was
Yeah.
awesome. That was great. I think I really don't like the Montreal Impact, and I don't know why, but I really don't like them. I think they're number six. He's like a Canadian national player. He just is very physical, which obviously is fine, but like he goes too far, and I'm just not into that.
Right.
Like it's just like it's very frustrating. I get frustrated sometimes, but yeah, I don't really like how they play. I don't really like their vibes, anything like that. So I want to beat them 5-0 in front of
Fair.
their fans too. So.
Yeah, I mean that would be nice. Yeah, I wouldn't say no to that, especially if it is that 5-0 result. That would be lovely. We've then got Portland Timbers, Providence Park, which looks, I mean, that stadium looks fantastic now with the renovation that they've done. The problem is they're on a run like what we had last season, where they've got a huge amount of home games. I reckon that's going to be a potential defeat on that one, even though they are bottom of the Western Conference. That's where we were last season.
Yeah, it's pretty similar. Yeah, I mean, I kind of have similar feelings about Portland and as the Montreal Impact, but
Yeah.
I don't like them very much at all. So I want to beat them. They seem like seems like a tough game. I think, like I mentioned, I'm gonna go for a draw
Yeah.
or maybe
It's,
even a defeat.
yeah, it's a tricky one to predict that one because they've played what 12 games away on the bounce. Yeah, it just really does feel like what we did last season. So it is a tricky one to kind of predict that one, but I think, yeah, tie or possible defeat on that one, which will be a shame considering what we've predicted so far in the current run. But then we then are back at home against Seattle Sounders, which is going to be tricky.
Yeah, that's a tough one. They're good.
They're bloody good. I've been really impressed with them, but I'm just looking at their current away record. They've only won once away from home out of 8 games so far this season.
Yeah, interesting. I wonder. Yeah, I think the other thing that's hard is like the Western Conference is just so much different in a lot of different ways than the Eastern Conference right now. I think in terms of not necessarily quality, but definitely performance right now is top notch over there, especially at the higher end of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, the LA teams, LAFC is crushing everyone pretty much.
Yeah.
I I don't know. I think this is one that we'll want to win. I don't
Yeah.
think we end up we will, especially because I feel like at this point in the season, the Seattle Sounders going for the first spot up there. I mean, it's unlikely, sure, but like that's a real possibility for them. And so yeah, that one will probably be hyped up a little bit too. It's like you can imagine even if like both of us are in second or third in our conferences, like
Yeah.
it could be one of those like, oh, like one of the best teams versus one of the best teams from the two things, like, one of those like this might be the MLS Cup, matchup.
It'd be like how the game was hyped up against LAFC earlier on in the season.
Yeah, exactly. Which yikes.
Yep.
I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then we go to the Red Bulls in New Jersey. I'm gonna be at this game too, so yeah.
I would love to be at this game, but I want to travel back and go to an away game. But it's that time.
This would be a good one.
Yeah, it's annoyingly it's the time of year in my current job I'm not allowed to have that particular month off, which is annoying because of a certain fruit-based product usually launches at that sort of time of year.
Yeah, okay.
You could probably get anyone who's listening, you could probably guess what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to say who I work for or what that fruit-based product is, but all you know is it's not a strawberry or a blackberry.
Yeah. But okay, well, this should be a good game. If you were to come to this, I would be careful because it's in the middle of nowhere, the Red Bull Arena. Literally,
I've looked on a map. It is truly in a very obscure place.
When I go to this thing, I usually go from Manhattan, and it takes me without any issues, delays of any kind.
Yeah.
It takes me over an hour.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
my.
It's not fun because, well, I mean, there's multiple trains you have to take. The train that people typically take, the path, it's called the PATH train, is I would say terrible. So.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, But anyway, so this game should be good. I think we go up there and we don't win, but I would really like to beat the Red Bulls in Red Bull Arena. So
there would be nothing nicer. I would say I would take a defeat against Sounders if we were able to beat Red Bulls at the Red Bull Arena.
Oh, I would take a defeat from like 4 teams if we could go up there and beat the Red Bulls. But yeah, I think. Yeah, and then the next game, I think we win. FC Cincinnati comes to DC.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that should be the game that secures whatever position we're in at that point.
Yeah, the only one shout there that's possible is like Darren Maddox coming back to Audi Field, and wanting to prove him. He's one of those guys who like wants to prove himself against his former people who don't believe in him or whatever like.
Yeah.
So that's a possible thing that could end up happening. I would also ask that no one boo him. I don't think that's.
I don't think we would, to be honest, because when he played for us, he gave his all, and he wasn't a bad player. I think he's more of an impact player rather than someone who starts week in, week out. He's someone who when the defense is starting to get a bit tired, he's that kind of player you would bring on and just to run them absolute ragged. I'd have him back, because I think he would be a great impact sub.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think for me, I said in the beginning of the season when like he got what happened, he like we let him. basically let
wasn't it
him
the
get
expansion draft, wasn't it?
yeah,
I think.
we let him get expanded drafted or whatever,
Yeah.
expansion drafted, I guess. And so I think he was kind of like, oh, like I don't want to be on the bench, I want to play, and like he's playing a little bit more, sure, but like he's still playing from the bench a lot, and
Yeah.
I'm like, wouldn't you rather be here under Wayne Rooney and like stay at the club you're already at, where you already have fans, and like learn from him, and like I don't know, it's hard because I think even him as a backup in DC is not a bad gig at all, especially
No.
versus being a backup in FC Cincinnati, a backup to someone who's
Yeah.
not really performing. But anyway, so I would honestly say like, yeah, definitely maybe not don't try to come up during September or whatever. Obviously you
Yeah.
can't, but like I think we're gonna make the playoffs and I think those games are gonna be the ones to be at. So
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I would save it for then because like I can tell you I went to like a couple games obviously last year in Audi Field, like we obviously didn't have it the whole season, but
Yeah.
the playoff game was
Oh.
like next level Audi Field. Like
Oh.
my ears were ringing.
I watched that at when it was like at 1 o'clock in the morning our time, and I was just sat there, just watching it and just heard the crowd, and I was just like, oh wow, this is actually what this is the kind of atmosphere Audi Field can actually produce, and it was just like it made the hairs on my arm stand up. It was just in the on the back of my neck. It was just absolutely fantastic, and it was just like, you know what? I feel like I was there, and it was just fantastic. And I would love to see that every game. It's just like you once you've heard it once, you want it every single week, don't you?
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, I have some videos from that game, like
Oh,
from my seat, which a lot of them are like crazy cool and like pretty close up, even like Wayne Rooney taking a couple corners.
oh,
And I haven't released them yet or put them anywhere, but if you follow me on Instagram at
and
DCU_soccer, I will probably post them as stories at least, soon-ish.
you
But
need to, you need to.
they're quite amazing, and like it was definitely like not life changing but definitely like made my year last year going to that game and like hearing the whole support because I was like my strategy was like I wanted to sit like next on the field
Yeah,
because it's a special game like those ones down there and like but I also wanted to be relatively near the supporters groups because they're loud and I can probably and I also
yeah,
like to scream so like it's not that crazy if you're screaming relatively close to them so that's where I was and
yeah,
it was just oh my God, it was next level. And
yeah,
I've never I don't think so I've seen a lot of soccer games in my life, not like a
yep,
crazy amount, and I've been to a lot of them, but this was definitely like the loudest and best atmosphere ever like I've ever been to.
yeah,
And it was just like wow. But
yeah. I've
yeah,
always thought,
that's all of the games.
yeah,
I think we're gonna do okay. I'm
yeah,
worried, obviously. I think we need to really get back in form. I think there are some moves we need to make over the off season or not the off season, the summer window.
yep,
But yeah, I think we need some depth at striker. I think
yeah,
I like Ameriqua, I really do, and I think he's like a really good locker room presence. And I think when he gets in, I think he works his butt off, and
yeah.
he's really good at like when the team's trying to press. He's relatively fast. So I mean, compared to Rooney, I guess.
But yeah, I've got time for America. I mean, he's retweeted some of my uh, things off from my website. And he's retweeted my podcast as well, which is always nice. But it's yeah, we do need depth up front. I mean, who else have we actually properly got who can play up top apart from Rooney and America? Which I don't think. Well, Griffin Yao, which would be nice to see
Yeah,
him play a bit more, get some more game time. 'Cause I've seen him play a couple of times for Loudon, and he's looked great for them.
he's looked
Um,
really well, really good. Like
yeah,
kind of like yeah, kind of like a spark out of nowhere, kind of like I think yeah he can play striker. I think he's done that before.
yeah,
I don't necessarily think that that's a good like backup option necessarily. At least not yet, right?
yeah.
We have to remember he's still so young and like
He's
while
still
he's
16, isn't he?
yeah
Mhm.
he's I
Yeah.
don't even know if he can drive. So yeah, so I think he needs to be getting more playing time considering his current form and like he did well in that Union game. Like
Mm,
the thing that I think even the announcers were impressed by that he can track back and he's really making the effort to really, I think, one, buy into the system, really like do it. But I think it's just hard because he is so young. But I think he's going to get some more playing time in the latter half of the season.
Yeah. Where we don't need any more fullbacks. That we definitely don't need now. We've got quite a few. I would love to see Asad come back, and I think Asad would like to see Asad come back as well from all the tweets that he's liking and things like that. That needs to be built up a bit more as well, I think.
Assad should come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's definitely, yeah, he's like some of my stuff and like some responses to my stuff, and like I think we can make it happen. I really
Yeah.
do.
Should we start a hashtag? Bring back Asad.
We probably should, honestly.
Yeah. Should we after we finish recording, we'll start doing the hashtag Bring back Asad. Anyone who's listening, just have that on there. Retweet what we tweet out after this. Bring back Asad. Let's make it happen.
I think that might be the actual title. Hashtag
Yeah.
Bring back Assad.
Yeah.
Bring back Assad and give him top shelf champagne. Um,
I mean that's a bit of a long hashtag.
yeah, and
But
very easy to get wrong.
But if I tell you what, if it brings them back, I'll do it.
Yeah, and I also see a lot of, I tweeted like a long time ago before the season, I think before the season when they were first talking and stuff, that like as soon as he comes back, I'm getting an Assad jersey. Like
Yeah.
it's going to happen. I don't know why or what, but like make it happen. We'll buy your jerseys. And I've seen other
Yep.
people say this too. And so maybe 1/3 of them will, but that's one more person than before. So
Well, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so bring back Assad. Let's do it.
yeah, I think defensively, I think we're shaping up to be okay.
Yeah.
We have some people coming back from injury. I think Mora's coming back, Pines are coming back, not a fullback, but a center back. But like,
Yeah.
I think that our defense depth is decent, and I don't think that necessarily has to be. I would be fine with it, right? But I don't think that that's the priority.
No, not at all. If we brought anyone in, brilliant, welcome. But yeah, as you said, we've got Mora back, Pines is coming back. We're gonna remember we've got Chris Odoye-Chem back as well now. We've got plenty of players to cover the back line. So yeah, we don't really need anything. If anything, if we brought someone in, I would imagine someone would leave if that was to happen. Midfield wise, obviously Assad, obviously in the sort of the centre mid, we've got Moreno, we've got Knaus, we've got Durkin, Asisaguru who could potentially play there, Areola who could play there. Then we've got Areola and Skuru who can play on the right. We've got Acosta, Yao, but one player who's been heavily rumoured to leave now is Stieber.
Oh, right, I did see this. Yeah. He did an interview actually where he was like, yeah, I want to come back to Europe so that I can be closer and be a part of the national team for Hungary. But
Yeah.
I think it might be time. I think I like
Yeah.
him as a guy and as a player. I like him, but like he is definitely not a Ben Olsen type player. He doesn't put into defensive work. He doesn't play in the same exact way. And yeah, I think also like on those dead balls, I think we have Rooney now, and
Yeah.
Stever is a specialist at that too. But like, I'm not gonna put Stever up there and do it if Rooney is on
Yeah.
the field, right? So
Absolutely.
but
And
it might be time.
he's our second highest paid player.
Yeah,
That salary that would get released from him, that would go nicely towards Yamil Assad, for example. Hashtag bring back Assad.
hashtag bring back the side. Yeah, I mean, I think there are situations even inside of MLS which would work, but obviously he doesn't want that. But like,
Yeah.
I could see him going to a decent side in Europe and like playing and doing fine, right? Like he's good on the wing for certain systems and certain styles of play. So
I'd see him probably in Bundesliga too, I think.
yeah, I had the mind yeah, I guess I could see that. Or like maybe one of the French teams or something.
Yeah.
Maybe one of like the ones like at the bottom of the yeah, but we're probably gonna end up losing Stever.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably for the best, and we obviously would wish him the best and everything. So yeah.
Yeah. There we go. I can't think of anyone who else we would lose at the moment, because we don't have the biggest of rosters. Let's put it that way. I don't think we could really afford to lose anyone else. But with a couple of nice additions, so Assad and maybe one other striker, I think that would do us nicely for the second half of the season.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, so we covered a lot of stuff.
We have, haven't we?
The only other thing is we did see that Wayne Rooney got picked to be the starting 11 of the All-Star team.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I'm excited about that. I think, a lot of people are like, oh, we don't want our players playing and that. And I'm like, it should be fine. It's not usually one of like, they're not going to be, hopefully, trying to hurt our people, right? Like, so,
Yeah, and it's a friendly game at the end of the day, so
exactly.
it should be good-natured. It's July 31st, if I remember rightly.
I don't remember the date. The only thing that I know is that they have those god awful purple uniforms, and I did
I
not
did
like
see yours.
that.
Was it yourself who tweeted about it being in black and white?
Yeah, I put it in black and white
Yeah.
because I was like, I can't see this purple. I do not like that.
Yeah, the game is, I've just got it up. It is on the 31st of July, so that sits right in between our game against Chicago Fire and Philadelphia Union. Literally
Yeah,
smack bang in the middle of those two games. So I could see him being rested for one of those games, for possibly starting the bench against Philadelphia Union if that's the case, depending on how much time he plays against Atletico Madrid. But we shall see. We'll see
yeah,
what
it should
happens
be
on that.
fun. I mean, yeah, usually the that stadium has a decent like atmosphere and everything. So,
Yeah, I mean,
um,
it's always
yeah,
nice to see these types of games. 'Cause it's good to see who people think are the best in the league, and I'm surprised we don't see more LAFC players in the league in that team. 'Cause there's only two of them. You've got Walker Zimmerman in defence, and then you've got Carlos Vela up top, and no other LAFC players, which I'm very, very surprised by.
yeah. I mean, it's fan vote. So, I mean, Atlanta has. I mean, Pity Martinez made it, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know
Um,
how that's happened because he's had a good couple of games recently, but that's about it. So we got Guzan and goal somehow. Don't know how the heck
yeah,
how that's happened. Then you got another Atlanta player, Perez, in the back, alongside Zimmerman and Graham Zusi of Spawn, Kansas. To be honest, times I've seen him, he's played well. Just don't know whether he's one of the best centre backs in MLS though. Would you put him up there?
no,
No.
no.
And then you've
But
got Barco, Dos Santos, Pity Martinez, and Nani, which I'm not surprised he's there. I think it would be a bit of a shame if the captain of Orlando wasn't playing in the MLS All-Star game at Orlando. It's a great attack, I have to admit. I would love to see a few goals from the All-Star team.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I want to see how this goes. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of attacking players and not much defense here, so we'll see. It should be a good
Mm.
game, and yeah, we'll probably talk about it at some point. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
cool. I mean, we covered a lot of stuff. Is there anything else we wanted to talk about?
Um, whew, I don't think so. We've racked up. What was it? 100 minutes of
A lot,
talk.
yeah.
That's a hell of that's if you're still listening at this point, fair play, well done. I would say that's it's been a great chat so far in this podcast. I want to say this has been the best one so far.
Yeah, this has been great. It's a long one. If you're still listening, definitely tweet bring back Asad. So yeah,
Yeah.
cool. I think that's it. You want to tell the listeners how to follow you and find your stuff?
Yeah, and obviously, if you've made it this far, feel free to tweet myself as well at DC United Kingdom. Drop us a follow, and we're on Facebook at DC United Kingdom FC. Instagram is the same. We also have a website which is dcunitedkingdom.com, and yeah, that's about it. So yeah, drop us a tweet and let me know if you're listening. And also, I've got my podcast as well, so if you want to join in on that, search DC United Kingdom podcast on your favorite app that you listen to podcasts on, and use the hashtag #BringBackAssad.
Absolutely. And yeah, if you're still listening, thank you so much. Yeah, I think that's it. Great. Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure.
Peace.